Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor here. We are back with another episode of the Rumour Mill. This is going to be a bit of a different one, everybody. It is match day. It's not just going to be about your rumours. We're going to be getting into the tactical side of Leeds United's game this evening with Norwich City. If you haven't checked out the preview from yesterday, guys, it's well worth it. Well worth it. Probably the best opposition preview I've ever done on the channel in the 4 years of running the channel. Probably the best opposition preview I've done. The breakdown Chris gives, the insight Chris gives, and just the insight as well on Daniel Farke and things going on at Leeds United, which might give you a few answers as to a few of your questions that have been going on with Leeds in the last couple of months. It's well worth the watch. So after this one, go and hit on that video. 110% is well worth it, everyone. We've got something really exciting. One of my childhood, one of the players who I loved as a kid growing up in the League One days and a little bit in the Championship as well, coming on the channel next week, which is really exciting stuff. So I want to bring more interviews to the channel, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. It's going to be a deep delve into this player's career, and yeah, that's going to be an exciting little addition next week. So let's get into a few of your comments. Ryan's in the building. Morning, did enjoy the preview. Them Norwich lads love their stuff. Cheers, Rye. Hope you're all good, mate. Morning, Connor. Hiya, Des. Hope you're all good. Ken's in the building. Ronnie Kipperin says, morning, Connor. Sorry I haven't caught a live for a while. Been pretty unwell. Good to be back. Hope you're all good, Ronnie. Hope everything's turned around for you at this moment in time. Morning, Connor. Big game tonight. 2-1 Leeds. Unsure on the Ben Godfrey rumours to Leeds. Morning, Connor, lads. Hi, Lofts. The opposition preview with Chris was top draw. It was indeed, mate. It was quality. Who Brownie? No, not this time, Lofts, not Brownie. Yeah, let's get into the Ben Godfrey stuff. I think that's probably a good place to start. So surprisingly, they're 110% in. Yeah, they're definitely in for him. Did a bit of rooting around, and yeah, as I say on this sort of stuff, everybody, you do not have to believe a word I say. No ITK in the no rubbish. I try and follow a few bits up, but they are definitely asking the question about Ben Godfrey. So that's interesting. Interesting from just a confirmation. I always say on here, it's not the confirmation mill, but I can definitely confirm that. And you can get people saying, no, they're not. No, they're not. They are definitely. Interim's a strong way of putting it, but they're definitely extremely interested in Ben Godfrey, and he's one of the targets. So that's interesting in itself. I almost said it as a joke at the start of last week, and I said, look, it's interesting how suddenly, Calcio Mercato, who have frequently, we've spoken about them on the Room Mill several times over the past few years, and they don't seem to get many things right. Normally, it's a lot of young rumours that they get right, which I think a lot of these sites do get right. Football Insider get a lot of stuff right when it comes to youth movement. I think they mentioned Lewis Bate really early on as well. But when it comes to senior signings, they're not amazing in terms of just reporting. But listen, this one could potentially have legs, and let me explain to you how it can have legs. So there is obviously a link with Leeds and Everton right now when it comes to Jack Harrison. Jack Harrison, from what I believe, is very sort of, he's waiting on what happens with Everton, and that's dependent on their relegation. Obviously, there could be a scenario here where Everton get docked even more points. Obviously, with Nottingham Forest with the FFP stuff. So that's something that you've got to keep an eye on. That's something that we've got to keep an eye on. But if Leeds are hashing out a loan for Ben Godfrey till the end of the season, there would be an option to buy at the end of it. And Jack Harrison has a massive sway from what I've been told in this deal. And I followed that up as well. Someone told me, followed it up, saw if it was anything, and it seemed to be something there. And potential of Jack Harrison being involved in this deal could sway it one way or the other. So listen, it could be rubbish. It could be someone saying it to me, and listen, it might not happen. As I say, Leeds are definitely interested in him, but will it get done? Football changes. Listen, I rarely get told anything. I'll follow things up and someone will say, look, Connor, bang. And I'll go, oh, okay, interesting. this one is something that I've been told that could be the stipulation in the deal. Jack Harrison. So that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting to see how that one develops. As I say, Leeds have got however many days left of the window. What is it? A week left of the window. We've not done anything yet. We've not made a single signing yet. Obviously, players have left the club. Ben Godfrey would be a really good addition. Yeah, so it'd be fascinating to hear about this. But once again, character wise, I've said on the show before, strong, a bit of a leader, but has once again fallen out with people behind the scenes several times in his time. Well, Norwich and Everton, I believe. So yeah, that'll be an interesting figure to bring in the club. But as I say, if Barker knows how to work with him, and he's going to get the very best out of him, as I've mentioned on yesterday's stream, the reason Ben Godfrey to Leeds is almost like it's an arc. Started at Leeds, got released. Every time Leeds played Norwich, he'd be giving it to the Leeds fans, and there's a reason behind that. It was, F you let me go. I'm going to prove you wrong. We saw that at Ellen Road when he was literally the last man in front of the Leeds fans every single time they scored. He's from York. I believe he went to Fulford School near me. So, listen, there's an arc there. Sheffield United being interested in him is interesting, but there's nothing anywhere really that is sort of backing that up. So whether or not Sheffield United are just being thrown into the mix to steep up competition, stump up interest, I should say, is a different conversation. And we know agents do this all the time, and then it becomes a bidding war. But if it is a loan, there will be a fee with the loan, as we always see in football nowadays. But the option to buy Ben Godfrey could weigh heavily on Everton's picture when it comes to Premier League or Championship, obviously, because then that would potentially sway Jack Harrison. Obviously, Jack Harrison wants to be playing Premier League football. Could Leeds get back to the Premier League and then Everton go down? Potentially. That changes the whole complexion of everything. But even if we are to get a Ben Godfrey on loan till the end of the season, I personally think that would be a really good addition. I think it would be the signing of the window. It would be Premier League class. It is someone who can play anywhere in that four. He's also someone who can play in defensive midfield, in my opinion. Versatility is brilliant with him, and he's a league winner. He's already a league winner. He's got experience in doing that. So I think that'd be a top addition. I think it'd be a really good addition. It's someone who, if we signed him, I think Leeds need two additions. I think a left back, in my opinion, needs to come in. And then if you got a Godfrey, that's perfect right now. You've got 7 days left. You get a Ryan Sessegnon in, who, yes, has got a bit of a steep injury record, but when he's available, he's going to be very, very, very good. He's done it in the Championship before with Fulham. And for me, that is another Premier League addition. Leeds are looking at longevity here with these Premier League signings, and I think that will be a really, really good one. So Sessegnon and Godfrey, that'd be a really good end to the window. Once again, the only stipulation with Sessegnon is this consistent injury record he has, and then you think to yourself, well, now you've got 3 left backs who are battered with injuries, consistently. So it's funny because when he was at Fulham, he didn't really suffer from a lot of these, but it seems to have been a bit of a reoccurring pattern in his career. So would that steer you away from that? If Leeds can get an option to get him on loan, absolutely not for me. Let's get into a few of your comments. Bradley says he's cooking a curry whilst watching this live. What curry is it, Bradley? Tell me what your favourite curry is. Anyway, morning, Connor. Hey, Brett. Hi, Connor. How are you? I'm fine, thank you, Leeds fan. Thanks for asking. I understand there is a better value in the last week of the window, so it makes sense to wait, but it's risky. I think we won't see anyone coming in before Sunday. Yeah, bang on, Jay. Do Sheffield United just borrow Leeds scouts? Yeah, I think a lot of it, mate, is what I would say is with agents will come out and say we've had contact from X, Y, and Z when that's not happened. It's to stump up a bidding war. It always happens in football. So Sheffield United literally might have had no contact whatsoever with Ben Godfrey. No contact whatsoever. And yeah, who knows? Godfrey would be insane. Magic gets announced tomorrow. Yeah, mate, it would be good. It would be very, very good. Money pal, hi phrase. It'd be a big 3 points tonight. I'm sure. I'm not sure. I'm confident he'll bring anyone in. Hopefully, I'm wrong. What do you think? I think it would be a bad move, in my opinion. Shout out to you, Rich. Oh, nice one, Brad. I think it would be a bad move if they didn't. And I'm not one of these who gets on this bandwagon of we've won 4 games, so suddenly no one can stop us. Leeds have done a really good job right now in slashing that sort of gap that's been between Leeds and Ipswich. Southampton are still in the mix, and they're on a 20-game unbeaten run. Each and every team in and around us has strengthened. Everyone. And there is an argument right now. Well, there's no argument. It's truth. Leeds have weakened. Really. So I'm not saying Cresswell and Ayling, when you're looking at it, would have got minutes. Jed Spence, I think, would have got minutes. And I think Jed Spence is still at higher level quality, a Serie A, still playing at a very decent level when it comes to that. So Leeds have weakened. So you can't, for me, go into a January transfer window when the manager is now, after saying at the start, there's been no problems, this, that, and the other. We're not really interested. We're going to be reactionary. And he stayed true to his word. That's exactly what Leeds have done. But he also said at the start of the window that we will react if things start to go wrong in terms of personnel not being available. Now, Strout's going to be out for a decent period of time. We know that. Could be even further as well when it comes to an adductor because of match fitness. Ethan Ampadu is then going to remain at centre-back. And then you've got Gruev, who's been playing really, really well in the midfield. But once again, it's just one injury, one little niggle, and then the whole complexion changes. Gruev gets injured. What do you do with Archie? Then who do you put right back? Do you bring James Shackleton back in? So it's all sort of hanging on a thread at the minute. And that's why Farker has turned around and said, look, he's essentially said, I'd like some defensive additions. That's what he said. Like reading between the lines, paraphrasing, of course. But so if the manager knows that is something that they need to be working on, I can't imagine as a very, very established outfit, the San Francisco 49ers just saying, do you know what? Screw it. It doesn't matter. We've won 4 games on the bounce. That means we're gonna come in the top 2. Because if they were to think like that, they're underestimating the game of football. They're underestimating those immeasurables. They're also underestimating the championship because it can be so unpredictable. So, yeah, and I do think it will be arrogant to just leave it. And we've done this before, regime-wise, where it's vibes FC. So, like, example, I use this all the time. Jesse Marsh, we all know he should have been sacked even after the Liverpool and Bournemouth game. We know there was complexities in the boardroom at those points. There was politics. But at the same time, as a organisation, Leeds United should have sacked Jesse Marsh at that point. They didn't do it. They continued because it was vibes FC. What I don't want the 49ers to do right now, and I don't think they will, is to slip into their similar mindset. They did work with, especially with Parag. Parag worked with Victor Orta and Andrea very, very closely over those years. Hopefully he's learned from their wrongs and they are actually progressing and making moves in the window behind the scenes and moving silently, as Leeds fans just continuously keep telling me, which is it's very, very frustrating because even sometimes they might not be doing things, but the 49ers are moving silently. Where are all those doubters now? Nobody's doubting the 49ers, but you are judged on what you do in the markets. You are judged on where Leeds finish. They're going to be judged on this transfer market at the end of the season if Leeds are not able to get up into the Premier League. So it is their duty right now, it is their due diligence to get the correct players in to enhance Daniel Farker's squad. Daniel Farker is now saying in press conferences, ideally he'd have a bigger selection pool. That is something the 49ers have to back. They have to back it if the manager's coming out and saying that. Farker said in the presser that winning 4 doesn't have an effect on buying players in this window. Hopefully you're right. All I want is a left-footed left back. It's not much to ask. Yeah, exactly, Gaz. Problem is, whoever comes in, they will need time to learn the system. It's not a bad point. One injury or suspension in the back line and we were in trouble. Godfrey and Roden at the back with Ampadu in front is a Premier League span. I completely agree with you, Josh. You're banging on the money. Hope we get a right back. So we can get Gray back in the midfield for Kamara. I actually really, really like Gruev in the middle. My challenge with Gruev was, can you start to play a little bit more progressively? I thought he had the handbrake on, he had the safety on a little bit when he was playing against Stoke City in particular, and it was hampering Leeds massively. He didn't bypass a press, he'd get the ball, play it laterally every single time, and it was really irritating to watch. But then you started to see him sort of involved a lot more with this Leeds side. And as a coach, I do wonder if Daniel Farker's had a little bit of a word with him. Daniel Farker's definitely improved a few things, and we're going to get into it tactically in this video, but he's definitely improved a few things, and I really, really rate that from him as a coach. So the man management side of things, which I've criticised Farker for before, is something that is going to be really, really interesting here because he's really we've got to ride this wave now. He's got to keep the confidence high. He's got to keep the group motivated. He's got to keep the group away from complacency. And I think sometimes Leeds have slipped into that. Tonight is going to be, in my opinion, one of the most difficult games of the season. You're facing a Norwich side who are resurgent, who have players back who they didn't have available before, and suddenly they've got a real spurt of confidence with a good standard of championship player. So tonight's going to be a real litmus test. And once again, Ipswich have left the door wide open for Leeds tonight. Several times this season, we've just ran into the door. We've not broke through it. If we break through that door tonight, things happen. Ipswich's next game, maybe they don't pick up enough points or whatever. Leeds, the equation will fit in, itself, whatever. Leeds can genuinely be in second place very, very soon if they get this right. Tonight's massive. It's absolutely massive. Good morning, Connor. Looking forward to a tough game tonight. I agree with you, buddy. Morning, Connor. How you, Danny? Hope you're all good, buddy. Hey to all Leeds United supporters, says Elmy. Hi, Elmy. Have I missed the Benson talk, says Rossi. No, you haven't, buddy. No, you haven't. So yeah, interesting here, Nick. Yeah, Obafemi was a shout that I had right at the beginning of the window in terms of a striker who I thought could play quite well with Yoel Perot, and we could, get the best out of Perot if we're able to fluctuate and be a little bit more fluid and dynamic in our system. And I thought Obafemi would help that. That Swansea link up him and Perot had was very, very, very good and very, very dangerous and quick. I think that's a good addition for Millwall. I really do. And I think you're getting some of the mid clubs who we categorise as mid, getting some really good additions, because it's interesting in this window that you're almost just getting teams say, look, you're going to get minutes. You're going to get minutes if you come to Hull City, if you come to Millwall. If you go to Leeds United and Southampton, okay, you might be on the bench for a promotion winning side, a playoff winning side, but you're not going to get minutes, so your portfolio is not going to be enhanced. Your playing career is not going to be enhanced. You're going to be back on loan in the Championship again next year. Carvalho's looked at that. Ryan Giles is a massive one. I cannot believe he's gone to Hull City when you've had some of the best Championship clubs looking at him. It's insane, but fair play to him. He wants minutes, and I love that about a footballer. He wants minutes. He just doesn't want that on his CV. What's the point if he's not getting that exposure? So Ryan Giles is another one. But when you look at Michael Obafemi, who's now gone to Millwall or is going to Millwall, he wants minutes. So fair play. Leeds will not be able to offer him that. And the picture from when I suggested Obafemi has changed a lot. Perot's not in the side. Bamford is now the leading striker in a 4-2-3-1 system. He's that lone striker. And Leeds have, which is what I asked for all along, started to adapt their play. It's not just playing through that congested middle. It's not just funneling the ball to Somerville and hoping for the best. It's actually diversifying how we're playing football and how we're building up offensively. And that is through Patrick Bamford. And credit to him through his form, and credit to Daniel Farker as well for making that big change, that big decision, taking Perot out for Bamford and keeping Perot motivated. That comes back down to man management again. But with a Michael Obafemi, right now, as the squad is right now, as the complexion is right now, it wouldn't work. It would have worked when I was suggesting it, when Perot was in and about the squad, and we needed a little bit of pragmatism when it came to Farker changing it up. He's not changed it up, and he's just changed personnel in terms of systematically. So fair play to him for that, and it's working at the minute. Now, Hull will get playoffs now. Instead of Sunderland with the signings they've made. Connor, do you see the Saints losing another game, though? Yeah, I do. I think Southampton are good. Southampton are a good team. I think they are a good team. But one to note with Southampton is the opposition that we're playing tonight. They drew at Norwich. And another one to note is they drew against Coventry. Now, if you do look at Southampton's 20-game unbeaten run, with the utmost of respect, it's been generous. Very, very generous. Now, I thought Swansea was a really good win for them. Really good win at the weekend. I think whenever you go to Swansea, it's one of those awful grounds that you go to in the Championship where it's a long journey, it's arduous, and it's a difficult place to get 3 points. As we know in the playoff season when we went up under Bielsa, it's a difficult place to go. Swansea generates some really good footballers as well, which can be a bit of a kryptonite for some football teams. And, it's just not a great place to go. To go in there and winning 3-1 is a good result. It's a very good result, especially when you're flat and not at your best. So Southampton are a good team. They're a good outfit. Adam Armstrong, Stuart Armstrong, Manning, Bednarek. Their team is full of Premier League quality. The City lad, Shea Charles as well, who I wanted us to look at the start of the season. Azodi, I believe, is back at some point as well. They've got a good team. They've got a really good team. So it's built for the Premier League, isn't it? So Do I think they'll lose another game? Yeah, I do. I do. This Southampton team, the beauty of what Leeds have got at the minute is we've played a lot of the top teams in this division away from home. Your West Broms, your Southamptons, your Ipswich, your Leicester, all played away from home, all ticked off. Hull City, all ticked off. So, by my mind, Southampton have got all these teams to play, all of them away from home. So when you're looking at West Brom away, when you're looking at Leicester away, Ipswich away, Leeds away, these aren't easy fixtures at all, because all of those away fixtures that you go into all have some of the top home form in the division. So I do think Southampton will lose games, yeah. So, but the challenge that Leeds have right now is to keep up the consistency. I saw someone mention on a video the other day, it was almost mocking people who mentioned consistency. I mean, read the facts. The figures are there. The numerical evidence is there. Away from home, Leeds aren't consistent. They're not. So when you improve that consistency away from home, you eradicate any of those mishaps, Leeds are going to start to progress and it's going to start getting way more consistent overall. Alcross is good. Listening whilst doing a course, work on diabetic retinopathy. Thanks for the mental break, Connor. Struggled to say that myself, mate. Steve says, morning, Connor. Worries me that we're not strengthened yet, considering that our rivals have. We're gambling again with our future. If we don't strengthen, I can't see us going up. Yeah, listen, you're not wrong, mate. Listening from Thailand, hey, Steve. Southampton will drop points. It's just in their last 10 games. It's awful. Yeah, no, it's not a good run. It's not a good run. So let's get on to the Benson chat anyway. So it looks as of right now that, we've spoken about Manuel Benson several times, but Leeds, there's been no real indication that Leeds, I mean, I mentioned it on yesterday's video that they've flipped between Gnonto and Benson. There is a gap right now for Manuel Benson, I mentioned before, at Southampton, but there's also, what I don't understand is the articles that you're reading with Leeds Live, whoever you want to read it off when it comes to Willie Gnonto, is this has been a long-term thing for Leeds, getting Willie to sign a new deal. This has been in the works for a while. Willie's not been playing football. You would make an argument that he's not happy. But he looks happy. Leeds scored at the weekend. He's going nuts next to Daniel Farke. He's celebrating with Crysencio Somerville anytime Crysencio Somerville does anything fantastic, which is pretty much every week. Celebrating with Rutter when he does his moments of magic. So that would lead me to think that maybe we've been sort of blindsided by that. Now, I do believe there's going to be a release clause in there, 100%, which will enable Willie Gnonto to go for less, potentially to a better side. But overall, he's going to get an improved deal. But with that all been in the background, Leeds, as we know, have still been progressing with Manuel Benson. They've been talking to representatives of Manuel Benson. So with all that in the background, which has been reported by several sources, could be wrong, as I say, it is the rumour mill, but that's what sources are suggesting. Leeds have been talking to Manuel Benson. So with all that in the background, Leeds have been doing this for a while in terms of Willie Gnonto. It would still make you think that Benson is still on if they feel that a deal can be done there. Now, the reason why this is changing now is because apparently Vincent Kompany is looking to bring in 2 wingers before the end of the deadline. So it's still on. It is still well on. Southampton, Leeds have been interested in this guy from the beginning of the window, from what we are led to believe. They've also, when it comes to a Leeds standpoint, been wanting to get Willie Gnonto tied down to a deal for a long period of time now. So, yes, Willie Gnonto signing a new deal, in my opinion, on that right-hand side, would restrict Manuel Benson. But is that how Leeds think? Is that how Leeds... Are Leeds thinking it's going to brew competition even more? Is there a deal that can be done where there is like an obligation to sign him at the end of the season for a decent price that will entice Leeds? There's always opportunity for Leeds to get something out of a deal which is going to enhance promotion credentials. If Leeds can do that, Leeds are probably going to do it. So Benson is definitely a one to keep an eye on. And developments last night from the Burnley side are that they are looking at 2 wingers, and one of them is apparently advanced, which suggests end time for Manuel Benson in terms of playing time completely. $25 million release clause for Willie in new contract, I reckon, and an increase to 20k. Yeah, he's not on a lot at all, mate. He's not on a lot. Is Benson really the answer, Connor? That's another question mark. That's interesting. Is he the answer? I mean, 11 goals, 5 assists, XG very good, a match winner. I remember for Burnley last year, I believe it was against Blackburn, obviously the rivals, pinging one into the bottom corner towards the back embers of the game. And I looked at that and thought, we've seen teams get promoted year on year on year on. And it's like Pablo Hernandez at Leeds. He used to just win games, didn't he, by himself? He would do something magic and win the game. And I think Benson does have that capability at this level. Just maybe the Premier League is maybe a little bit too advanced for him. We've got to remember with the Premier League, everybody, we're going to need some serious surgery on this squad. This team right now, right here, right now, gets slaughtered in the Premier League. You might not like that. You might not, but there have got to be some ruthless heads in that boardroom. If this squad was to go to the Premier League right now, I believe it gets slaughtered. And we come straight back down. So when you get that ruthless head on you, players like Manuel Benson, can they transition into the Premier League? It's a completely different level, a ridiculous level now. So can he transition? He could be good at Championship level. Can he be good at Premier League level? Probably not. And that's what you've got to really sort of look at when you're buying a player. Can Benson plays a 10. I think he's more as an inverted winger, mate. He'll come off that right hand side and cause damage there. I liken him in terms of playing style to Iron Robin. If you can get that in your noggins, that's probably Rodgers and Hackney. Yeah, Hackney's unbelievable, mate. We're not getting hold of him. I agree, Connor. We will get slapped. Yeah, we would. I mean, it's not. If we go up, I'd go for Johnny Rowe from Norwich. I agree with you, mate. Johnny Rowe's a top player. But yeah, it's not. People don't need to get offended by it. It's just reality. We are Leeds. I'm a Leeds fan. You're Leeds fans. But realistically, this side go up. That Leicester side go up right now with the squad they have. Southampton go up with the squad that they have right now. Ipswich in particular with the squad that they have right now. They get ripped apart. They get absolutely ripped apart. So serious strategy, serious framework needs to be put in place and investment in this side for us to get to that next level. Okay, so tonight, now what I want to flash up here is Norwich's side in their last game. Now it's very, very different when you look at the blueprint of this side. You've got Jack Stacey, Giannoulis at the back there. We spoke to Chris Reeve about this the other day, and Giannoulis, was linked to Roma. Jose Mourinho loves him. Jack Stacey as well, former Premier League defender. Very of the Byron mold, can be utilised on that left-hand side as well. Probably better at right back, but also has a very industrious way of getting up and down that line. Probably more of a defender than an attacker, but has always been highly rated wherever he's been. Now, if we just flash this up once again, the tactical side of this is going to be really interesting tonight. Now, that, for me, if we just look at the complexion of that side has balance. It really does. You've got a right-footed right back, a left-footed left back who are going to get up the field. You've got Kenny McLean and Sarr in there. We've all been speaking about Gabby Sarr on many occasions. You've got Johnny Rowe on that right-hand side, who is one of the upcoming talents in this division. And the interesting thing about this game is Josh Sargent. Now, the America thing, we'll all laugh at, Josh Sargent this, Josh Sargent that. Listen, Sargent wasn't good enough for the Premier League. He's one of those players yet again. He was playing on the right-hand side, but as a striker, he's not good enough in the Premier League. But as a centre forward in this division, there is an argument that he's one of the better ones. Yeah. So I believe in the last game when Leeds played West Bromwich Albion, they didn't have him. Now, I've done all of this research, as you guys can tell, through Sofascore. You can see this now. If you want to download Sofascore, the link is in the description below, guys. It is well worth it. I've got so many things on Sofascore now. I've emailed them in particular to get them on side, and I'm buzzing with the partnership. You can hit the affiliate link in the description below for all of the live analysis of the game. This has all been done via Sofascore. Honestly, guys, so much better than all of your other apps. You've got analysis in there and live score. You hit the link, it helps me as well. Free download. So we do look at this. So you look at that side and it's interesting. Now, when we look at tactically here with Leeds, this has got to improve. Now, for me, there was plenty of times at the weekend where Leeds had themselves in this situation with Crysencio Somerville, who I don't think has been at the level that Crysencio Somerville was at a month previous to the past couple of games, where he could slide Firpo in. Now, the one time he did it at the right point, it was a heavy pass, but Firpo was able to put a delightful ball in. Dan James at the back post, 1-1, Leeds back into it. Somerville needs to start doing that more. There was too many occasions in that game where you're literally getting Crysencio Somerville, unfortunately, holding on to the ball too long and not getting rid of it. When he started to get rid of it a little bit quicker at the right moment, you saw Jorginho Rutter hitting the bar and you saw a lovely little slide ball into Firpo for him to then chip the ball in. Dan James with the header at the back post. If Firpo and Somerville start to get this little cohesive partnership going more regularly, Firpo stays in the side to provide us with balance on that left-hand side. That is going to be so advantageous for Leeds United. But let me just flash the Norwich side up once again. This, from a defensive standpoint, is going to be one of his toughest games, in my opinion. If Norwich are to continue with what Norwich do and what Norwich have done, where they've got results against Southampton, they've got results against West Bromwich Albion and Hull City in their past 5 games, there is going to be a Jonathan Rowe assault at some point on our left-hand side, and he's going to give it a go. He's going to really give it a go. And that is going to be where you're probably going to see Gabby Sarah releasing him consistently. It happens all the time. They play the ball over the top of the fullback. Sarah, who's got that lovely playmaking ability, gets the ball from deep, plays the ball over the top, over the fullback to Jonathan Rowe, or he plays it into his feet. Jonathan Rowe, I think at the weekend, according to Sofascore, had 5 dribbles, and I think he had a 75 to 80% completion rate. He's going to go at Junior Firpo. So Firpo's ability, his positional awareness is going to be tested tonight. Where it wasn't at the weekend, it's going to be tested tonight. Okay, so you had Liam Miller, who was up against Archie Gray. That was the key battle against Preston. The key battle in this game is going to be Jonathan Rowe up against Firpo. I need his positional awareness to be good tonight. I need it to be good. When he's bombing on forward, he's still got to be talking to the left-sided centre-back, Ethan Ampadu, to be covering him at every single point, and needs to get numbers back there. If Firpo goes forward, someone needs to cover that left-sided spot, because on the counter-attack, Norwich are really going to try and expose that side. You've got their best player against arguably our worst defensive player. Okay, he's been very good in the past however many games, but defensively, we all know with Junior Firpo, he gets very tight, he gets spun, he gives away fouls, and positionally, he's poor defensively. So that is going to be a key battle to look on tonight. And Jonathan Rowe against Junior Firpo, if Firpo can come out on top, for me, Leeds are going to win the game comfortably. That is their main asset. Main asset is going to be Jonathan Rowe. It may be being optimistic, but I think it's a comfortable win for us tonight, 3-0. Hi, MW. Hope you're all good, mate. Yeah, I think that is going to be probably the biggest sort of bet winner you'll get tonight. My with Firpo is he goes too far upfield and sometimes striker position, and Jonathan Rowe will smash us to pieces. Yeah, Dan James is a wing back that works to get through that. He will help on that side. Obviously, Dan James is going to be on the right hand side, the right hand side. But let's have a quick look at, so this is just an example here, everybody, of when Firpo's getting forward here, can we maybe look at Glenn Kamara not batting on too far forward, or Gruev? Listen, we all want Leeds to get forward. We all want us to flood the box. And attack is the best form of the defence in many, many scenarios. But as you can see here by this screenshot, you need Glenn Kamara to just fit in there. And you need Ampadu to just be aware that if they're on the counter-attack here, that's going to be their main threat. Now, if I'm just looking at the central midfield spot, now, this is what I wanted to talk about as well before tonight's game. Now, Gruev was just way more involved in proceedings at the weekend. And as you can see by the heat map, Gruev is defensively very, very interesting. He always wants the ball, which I absolutely love. We had him on corners as well, and I thought his corner distribution was very good, better than that of Crysencio Somerville, and better, when it comes to that of Dan James, of course. But he's everywhere. He's absolutely everywhere. And you can see on this heat map that he's getting forward as well. We saw that position where he got hacked down by the dirty Preston midfielder, when he was driving forward into the heart of that defence. But he's getting forward. He's everywhere. And what I'd like to see with Glenn Kamara is a little bit more forward movement, because for me, in that role, Gruev, it's not his license to roam. It's his license to be that defensive pivot alongside a number 8. It's to be the 6 alongside the 8. Glenn Kamara, for me, at the minute, the safety's on, the handbrake's back on. We saw a bit of a break when it came to him playing license. License was free. He was able to roam. He was able to do his thing. It's changed a little bit for me now. I don't know why, but it seems to be the handbrake's on a little bit more. Maybe he needs a more defensive partner in Ethan Ampadu there to just be next to him, and then he'll feel that he can go forward a little bit. I don't think when he's been next to Gruev that we've seen the same Glenn Kamara really, which is interesting. We've flashed this up again. You look at the touches, 71 touches from Elia Gruev in the game, 46 from Glenn Kamara. The expected assist from Gruev, who's getting forward a lot more, sort of indicates that as well. And obviously Glenn played less minutes because he had such a good game, did Elia Gruev. So I just think overall that midfield's going to be key tonight. They've got a tough one. You've got Kenny McLean, who Leeds tried to sign at the beginning of the window, a bit of a Farke favourite. You've also got Gabi Sarr in there, who for me is one of the best midfielders in the division. Now you've got Gruev and Kamara. They need to work as a partnership. They really, really need to work together in this game. And I'm not sure that they can be as much license to roam for Elia Gruev. I think he's going to have to be a little bit more static in that defensive role. And Kamara's going to have a little bit more license if they've got that understanding to get forward. A few more comments in here as well. It should be a live game. Yeah, I agree with the Kamara call. Leeds 3 points tonight, but it won't be easy. Could easily see Somerville and James swapping. I think that'd be a good idea. Connor, do you think we can expose Duffy and Gibson 100%, mate? Listen, this Norwich side, they're not as good as us. They're nowhere near as good as us. But Gibson and Duffy, this is where maybe tonight we're going to have to actually try play through them. We're going to have to actually try play some really nice football, because I'm not 100% sure that clip ball over the press is going to be effective against two monsters at centre-back. Also, defending set pieces is going to be key as well. A couple of times in the last month, I should say, we've looked a little bit vulnerable from defending set pieces. With those two monsters, especially Duffy at the back, who's about 8 foot tall, we've got to be really careful with this one. They've got some athletic players when it comes to Rowe and Sargent, who are going to be dangerous in and around the box as well. We've got to be careful tonight. But Leeds can blow this lot away very, very easily. I think a quick start's going to help. But guys, listen, I'm going to get it set up now. We've got the Watchalong tonight. We're back with the Watchalong. We're going to be back from around about 7:15, 7:30. Get it in your calendars. Get it in your notice boards. We're going to be back with the One Leeds Watchalong. We've been absent. We've been getting to the game. We're going to be getting to the Plymouth game at the weekend as well. But the Watchalongs are always well worth it. You guys thoroughly enjoy it. We're going to be getting set up for that right now, getting all the graphics and all that good stuff sorted for it. So guys, please make sure before you leave, you slap a like on the video. Head on over to the Patreon, where I'm going to be heading on over to now and doing a little bit of a match day with McGilligan. And I will see you in a bit, guys. Also, if you just want a cheaper membership, you can hit the YouTube membership just in the just by hitting the join button in the description below. Please check Sofascore out. Well worth it. I've emailed them because I wanted to bring them into the channel. All these graphics now are going to be coming from Sofascore. We've got a really good partnership with them. Hit it. Free link. Free link. It is free, and it's an affiliate link for me, which means that I can keep going with this stuff on the channel. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Before you leave, make sure you like the video, and I will see you in a bit.